Anyway, so Prey seems to be a moderate streaming success at the very least. It's $65 million budget. I do wonder what this would have looked like as a cinematic release. No doubt bigger on a bigger screen. But also, so Predators made $126 million and The Predator made $159 million. They've never been big, huge box office draws. They've always done like okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think they had enough faith in this franchise at this point to release it to cinemas.
And they should have, because people loved it.
Yes, and it was good.
And a lot of people watched it.
I will say this, though.
Go on.
I wish they just did the whole thing in Comanche. And I think also having it on streaming, you could do that.
Yeah.
You got the flexibility to do that. I think, you can kind of roll a dice on something the audiences might not be used to necessarily, because also a lot of this movie is not spoken.
So for people who can't remember, because this came out 1 trillion years ago, the options to watch this were you could watch it in English, because all the actors recorded their lines in English, but you could also watch it dubbed in Comanche, the Native American language, because all the actors came back and re-recorded their audio, and you could do it with subtitles or without subtitles. So I watched it in Comanche with subtitles. I was like, should I watch it without subtitles? Maybe I'll get the gist.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of glad that I didn't, because I think there was nuance there that I don't think I would have picked up on.
No. I also think the dub, I watched it in English, and then I went back and I watched like scenes of it in the dub, and I just don't think the dub is very good, and it's really distracting.
Yeah.
So I think if just film it like that. I mean, they can't because it's done.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too
maybe
late.
The sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about that as well. But I think what this does, though, it gets to the core of what makes like the first Predator good.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it.
Yes, that's right. And
it was for me. I cut out a picture of him. I stuck it
on. Yeah, good. I hope he was all right. Did he get through it?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
It's like
But I also enjoy, and I think people have kind of missed the point of how somebody defeats a predator.
Big guns, the biggest guns, just firing.
No,
James, remember in the first Predator where they all fire their big guns into the jungle,
remember that.
and then the Predator's like, you got me. I'm dead now.
You guys get out of here. You got me, I reckon.
Just kidding. That doesn't do anything.
See, the point of like the Predator is that you can't brute force a predator. Yeah. Like Arnold is probably the strongest person to ever go up we've seen in a movie against one of these.
Yes.
And he's like, he's just throwing him around like he's a paper bag.
Yes.
Like you cannot defeat.
So fling him in the air and he just sort of he just floats around and you're like
trying to snatch him.
Yeah.
But he gets caught on the wind. Yeah. So it didn't matter at the end of the day that Arnold is as strong as he is.
Yes.
And the same way that it doesn't matter the character in this how strong that she is.
Yes.
She defeats him because he ignores her until she's perceived as a threat. Yes. But by then she's formulated a plan. Mm. And the reason she stayed...
Also, I think this guy's a rookie.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Yeah.
And I think the reason also she survived, and some people have said this is like, well, the reason she survived is because, he didn't even try to kill her, so he was ignoring her. Yes, that's in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
But she stays alive long enough to realize what's going on and formulate a plan.
Yeah. She's got the observational skills.
Exactly.
She's got the tracking skills. She's got the stealth skills.
She's got the axe on the rope and whatever.
She steals that railgun thing.
Yeah, she steals that thing, yeah. I think there's some CGI animals which don't look great in this.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's some bear stuff which might not look great, but again, it's streaming, so I also understand that there are limitations to what you can do. But I think the simplicity of it worked for me, and the era really worked well as well.
Yes.
I think one of the many things that I didn't like about the last one was the way they brought it to the modern day, but they didn't. It was just nonsense, Mason. It was just a nonsense movie when we talked about it. But I don't know. I think even things like the new look for the Predator. I mean, there's always a bigger Predator, and this is one of the bigger ones that we've seen. But it was the right size. Remember the last one was like 10 feet tall or something?
Remember that,
it was too big, where this one felt like it was like an appropriate size and maybe a different subspecies or from a different continent or even a different planet. But you mentioned, though, you reckon he was a rookie, this one.
I'm not basing that on anything other than a vague vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know. He didn't he didn't look particularly battle scarred. I think they have little things in their dreadlocks if they've done a thing. He didn't have the plasma cannon, which I feel like is.
I thought that was a bit of technology.
It might have been. Yeah, that's true.
He had that laser dart thing.
He did have that laser dart thing.
Yeah. But I even like that idea that they strip back all the weapons. And they did that on purpose because I think the director, Dan Trachtenberg, was like, it's kind of a, if he's got a laser cannon and it's this era in time, then it's not interesting just seeing him I think it would be interesting for
and again, it's been literally hundreds of years, so it would make, I'm not sure of the timeline. I don't know if we've seen previous, Predator. I guess they had plasma cannons in Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, they did. But modern day.
No, I mean in the Aztec times.
Oh, they did too. Yeah. What of this? It's all canon, isn't it?
It's all no.
Or some's in the Alien Predator verse and some is the regular verse.
Look, my canon would be that the canon is only given to like the veterans.
I think it also might be a thing where,
or you have to buy it.
You have to buy it, yeah. Or you're from a different part of it, or some people hunt with like a bow.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, look, you don't, on your first hunt, you don't get the plasma cannon because it would be too easy.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, good casting. I think Amber Midthunder is the woman who wants to become a warrior, but of course society shan't be allowing that. I think she was great. People are like, you should get her in a Marvel thing. She's in Legion.
Oh, she is too. Yeah,
she's in Legion. Yeah.
She's
but
Legion.
Again, if people want her in an MCU thing, I think people have said, you should get her as X-23.
Oh yeah,
or a Wolverine's clone. That could totally work.
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I thought what was I going to say? I'm missing a bloody note here. I thought there were some really good kills in it. There's one particular scene in like the fog where the Predator comes in and there's a bunch of poachers and it's just like a massacre.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting one.
There's it's
the shield, and all the way the shield works. And
after that as well, there's a moment in that where Naru, who's Amber Midthunder's character, like captures one of the poachers and just cuts one of his legs off.
Yes.
To use him as a lure, and I'm like, that's brutal, but you would back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those guys sucked. So
no, most of them weren't good, but we did know that gun. We saw that gun where that guy had that gun.
Well, I mean, great. So what I was going to say, it is great. So because at the end of this, so Naru defeats the Predator, and we get at the end, in the credits, we get a sort of like a Native American kind of cave painting kind of story that suggests maybe what happens afterwards. And what we do see is more Predator ships rather arriving on Earth.
Yeah.
And at the end, and the Easter egg, the gun in this movie, at the end of Predator 2, when Danny Glover, the actor Danny Glover, defeats that Predator, all the other Predators show up, and because he's won the battle, they give him a gift, which is the
gift of friendship.
The gift of friendship, but also this gun, and it's revealed that, of course, it's in this movie. So what we have to do now is you have to draw a line between these two movies.
Yeah.
And the simplest explanation would be that the Predators showed up and they killed this tribe and they took the gun back. But, James, how about this?
Here we go.
What I think might be a good idea for a sequel. A lot of people have been like, well, why maybe do a Predator in Samurai times? Maybe do a Predator in a different
we'll
time.
Get to it.
Yeah. Maybe do a Predator in the jungle.
Oh.
Right. But in the Alien versus Predator comic books, there's a character that has, and we've talked about in our comic book club, Michiko Noguchi, who's an Asian character who joined. She proves herself as a warrior and she joins the Predators in space.
Yeah.
But they've never really done anything with that character in the wider universe.
No.
So I'm saying, and also like
do some version of that.
Because if you remember Batman versus Predator, the comic book, Batman defeats the Predator and they gift him like a ceremonial sword. That isn't just something they found.
No.
Like, that's significant to them.
Yeah.
So that would suggest the gun is significant to them as well.
Can you say no? Like, no, I don't know.
I don't want to do this,
I don't
actually.
want a sword.
But it would suggest to me that, like, I think a good thing maybe would be...
Well, she wants to hunt. And
they're like, how about come with us? Because then the gun would represent it's a weapon of a warrior they respect.
Yes.
And so then they could be like... In Predator 2 time, they could be like, this is one of our greatest warriors, had the gun or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Do you think there's like a longevity, like they could even have a show up in the future or whatever?
Sure, time dilation.
Apparently
time dilation, James.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In Predators 2, if they ever did a Predators 2, so in that movie they were set, it was on an alien reserve planet where they took all the people.
Yeah.
In the sequel, they get back to Earth and it's the future. And basically they'd just been on ice. And then they release them there like 50 years in the future or whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And then by the time they got back, it's the year 2100 or whatever. Uh-huh. So I think that could be, you could really bring her to any time if you really wanted to.
Agreed.
I don't think I want just Prey 2.
Well, that just happened,
That just happened, can you believe it? I don't want a Prey 2 where it's just the same thing again and it's a predators come back, but there's maybe more of them and on all of that. What's the point of that? I like seeing the dog and I liked Chekhov's mud pit and all of those things, but this is an opportunity to do something different with it, with a movie which most people seem to really enjoy. I did think the finale of how she killed him was a little muddled.
Okay, sure.
She stole the helmet and it's aiming and the thing shoots wherever the thing is and whatever.
Yeah.
I understand it, but I think it's a bit...
Right, I understand. And I think, obviously... I think the thing is that... And a lot of people don't really acknowledge this in action movies a lot of the time, especially in the present day, is that a lot of this sort of stuff is down to luck. Like it is kind of a last-ditch thing. Like, so the way I understood that was... So the Predator's railgun, when he activates the railgun, his 3-dot sight lights up, and the railgun, the round will follow around and hit whatever is looking at whatever the red dot sight is looking at. But he thinks that the mask, she takes his mask, and he thinks it's lost. Yeah. So my assumption is there that he thinks it's just going to dumbfire.
Shoot straight. Yes, that's
But then he doesn't realize until it's too late that she's recovered the mask and it's pointing at him. That being said, you're right. It was a little bit muddled as to where the mask was. And but I'm like, it was a last ditch thing. If it didn't work, I guess you'd try something else.
Exactly. Yeah. But I also thought that I liked how she managed to remove one of his arms and shoot him in the back of the head, and he was clearly dying. So he wasn't.
He wasn't thinking straight because he had a bullet in his head.
And he wasn't. He probably knew he wasn't going to escape this. Even if he killed her, he wasn't going to. I can't imagine he would have done well. Like they would have picked him up and just been like, "You fucking idiot! You're a mess."
You got shot in the head. What were you thinking? Our pals over at Do Go On did an episode many years ago about the craziest duels in all of history.
Okay,
and one of them, a doctor is challenged to a duel, and the first thing he does in the duel is he takes all his clothes off, and the guy challenging him was like, "You know what? I don't want to do this anymore." But apparently that's because the way a lot of people, because back in the day, those kind of percussion guns, like the round wouldn't like go through your head and kill you and come out the other side. What would happen a lot of the time is you would get shot.
I'd get a bit of cloth.
The cloth would get pushed into your skin, like into your flesh, and because everybody's clothes were disgusting and dirty, you would get infected and you would die from that. So he's just like, if I'm not wearing any clothes, I might survive this, and he did. So.
So I can do that?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Dakota Beavers as her brother was, I think, very good. Yeah. The Predator was good. Dane DeLiegro.
He was very good, and I loved the look and the size and all of that. I mentioned that. But,
and then he had that. He didn't have the metallic Predator mask.
No, he had like
the bone one.
Alien mask.
Everyone was good in this, but... And the horrible poachers were good. We're a good, secondary antagonist.
They're French and German. I think it's a mixture because
right.
It's not good. Apparently, I wouldn't know.
But also, and of course, Coco as the dog.
5 stars.
5 stars as the dog. Apparently, according to the director, he would because the dog was not a trained Hollywood dog. She was just like a kind of adopted mutt because that type
it looks like a mutt. Like, Ollie's kind of like that. Like, what kind of dog is this?
It's sort of kind of a street dog who was not really trained for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And apparently the director was told, like every time he presented a cut of this movie to his friends, they're like, more dog. Put more dog in this. And he's like, we have put in literally every usable frame of the dog. every other frame of the dog is it playing up because it's not a Hollywood dog and it's just running around following the predator and wagging its tail because he thinks it's fun or whatever. So,
That's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, more Predator, please.
More Predator, please.
So the next one will be bad because that is how Predator movies work.
Seems that way, yeah. Not only will it be bad, it'll be woeful. So it'll be atrocious.
Great.
Look forward to it, folks. That's the Weekly Planet guarantee. One of the worst movies you've ever seen.